What's up, rogues? So in today's video I'm going to be ranking my top 5 abilities within the game. Now the abilities, when I say this, I don't mean passives, I purely mean the main primary ability that you have to physically activate yourself. So this can be stuff like, I don't know, Dallas's reveal or anything like that. I will be doing a separate video on passive, so bear that in mind. And also a quick disclaimer, some of these you guys might hate, you might think of a worst, and some of these over time might get changed and whatnot. Again, bear in mind, purely my opinion. So, hopping right in at, for me, number 5 is Ronin's Explosive Dart, whatever you want to call it. Now this, I've put it at number 5 above, 10 other possibilities within the game. And this is because of just how hidden it seems to be. Every game that there's a Ronin on the opposite team, I will walk into one of these. It doesn't matter that it makes a loud noise. It doesn't matter that it's got a blinking light on it. I don't know why, but every single game I will hear the noise and I'll think, is it here, is it there? And then boom, all of a sudden I'm gone. Dead. Finished. That is why it's at number 5. It is so incredibly powerful and easily the best, I would say, offensive kind of explosive, I guess you could say. People say Redeemer, his is good, but I find it so much easier to counter Demers than it is Ronin. So yeah, for me, Ronin's explosive dart thingy, number 5. Moving in at number 4 is, and this was a really difficult one for me to place, so there are going to be some ifs and buts with this one, but it's V's or Vi's poison area thing. Now this is super good. In the gameplay I do use it on Strikeout, which I would try and avoid. For me, her sort of ability is best on Demolition, purely because you're able to just physically stop players from going on a point. Like, the only thing I believe it can counter it is the trophy system, and no one uses a trophy system, no one does. Once it's thrown and it's activated, it is unbreakable. The area is locked off for a few seconds, and like I say, if the enemy team is pushing A and they're trying to get on there, all you have to do is throw one of them bomb things on and they won't step foot on it. Simple as. He was going to walk on it knowing that they're just going to die and take damage. It's just not going to happen. So, like I say, for me, she's number 4. Strikeout, she's still viable, don't get me wrong. You'll see in the gameplay that there are times where I get quite a bit of damage here and there done, but mainly Demolition is what I'd focus on. And the reason I found it so hard to place her here is just because of how many good abilities there are within the game. And I'm not saying that it makes V or Vi a top pick necessarily, just this ability, if you can use it in small choke points and you can use it on the point effectively, you can absolutely close off areas. Really good. Alright, moving in at number 3, and this is going to be controversial, I think, but it's Dallas's reveal. Now, let me explain. Dallas's reveal, if you're a below average player, and this is not meant to offend anyone, you know, we're all at different skill levels, but if you're someone that's getting 2 or 3 kills a game, maybe, this isn't going to be the ability I would pick, because you're not going to use it that much. If you're getting 2 or 3 kills, you're probably going to use it 2 or 3 times in the game, really, or, you know, if the game goes on for 7 rounds, you'll get 7 uses out of it and won't make much of it. But if you are a player that is getting constant kills, you can chain this all day. You can basically just have a permanent wall hack, essentially. So the deal with it is you use it and it reveals one of the enemies. This is bearing in mind that they don't have the perk that counters this, or it isn't Ronin. Ronin, I don't believe, can be seen on this because of her passive ability, but other than that, anyone gets shown, and it's always the closest to you. I say that, put a little asterisk next to that, because there have been times where I swear I've pinged an enemy across map and I thought, oh, there's no one near me, and then it turns out there's someone around the corner. So just bear that in mind. But this is really good. If you can chain it, like I say, if you get a kill after using it. So if I pop it, it reveals someone, I kill that person, for example. It then lets me use it again, so I can use it again to see the next person, and then the next person. And this is really good if you can, for example, go on the right hand side of a map. So there's 3 lanes, left, middle and right. And you and your friend or one of your teammates decide to come right with you. What you can do with this is run around that right wing, ping someone, eliminate them, and then ping it again. You can make sure there's no one else on that right wing, and you can just chain it over and over and over. If, like I say, if you're a good Dallas player, which I am not, but if you are a decent Dallas player, I absolutely understand why. Because this thing is so ridiculously powerful, and I think slept on way too much. Way too much. Right, going in at the number 2 spot. In this, I don't think this is going to be controversial. I think everyone watching this would probably see this coming. It's Talon's Dart, or Reveal Dart. Now, this is basically like Dallas's ability. However, it's so much better in almost every perceivable way. So the way this works, it doesn't give you an outline of the enemy. It doesn't give you a bright red outline like Dallas. But what it does do is gives you the ability to throw a dart in, I don't know, off the top of my head, I don't know the exact measurements, but around about a 5 by 5 sort of circle. Now, on your map from there on, you will have a constant red dot of where the enemy is. And you're probably thinking, well, that's not that good. That, you know, the distance it covers isn't that great and whatnot. But let me just point something out. If you're on Strikeout or Demolition, okay, so let's say we're on Demolition, and all of the enemies are going A. You throw this on A. It's so hard to find, by the way. This dart makes like no noise once it's landed. It's just a tiny little thing. So there's no way 9 times out of 10 you're going to be able to find it. You've placed it on A, and all of a sudden there's what? 3 enemies there. You know exactly where all 3 enemies are, and so do your team. And the enemies do not have a clue about it. They don't have a single clue that you're being revealed. It's just ridiculous. This is so ridiculously powerful if placed right. And then on Strikeout, when there's a single point, you're able to kind of throw this more onto the enemy's side and see them all coming at you, or even throw it behind you where maybe you know enemies are going to try and flank, and all of a sudden you've just, like I say, you've just got a instant mini-map. It's almost like popping a UAV on Call of Duty. It is ridiculous, and it's so easy to use. Honestly, all you have to do is you run out, you pop it, you throw it, boom, done. You don't have to think about it anymore. All you have to do every now and again is check your minimap. It's so easy and so effective. So that is why it takes the number 2 spot. Right, my honourable mention for this video was so difficult, I'm not going to lie. There are so many characters that have such great abilities. For example, Anvil, I love his shield. However, it's such an iffy ability. Are you going to have the correct map to really use it on? There's, you know, like I say, I could go over character after character, like Shaq. Again, his ability can be clutch as hell. But for me, my honourable mention is going to have to go to Scorch's overheat ability. Now, we've all been there. We go running in, no matter who it is, and we hear Scorch use their ability, and we think, oh crap. Because you know what's coming next. You are going to get demolished in a 1v1. If you're playing Scorch, 9 times out of 10 you're going to use the submachine gun. Okay? Which already is incredibly powerful. You then pop this ridiculous fire ability, and it just melts you, literally. You know, pun intended, it is an absolute beast. People run in with Scorch and they just feel like God, and they're spraying everywhere, and there's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Scorch's overheat is so good, and the only reason it isn't on the top 5 list, I would have to say, is probably just because of the usability is not always there. Look, at longer ranges, it's not a great ability. For team play, it's not a great ability. You're not bringing anything to the team other than if you're a god and you're able to get aces every game. But on Strikeout, you've always got a Scorch. Every game, there is a Scorch. And if there isn't, it's almost like a guaranteed point or 2 to your team. Simple as. So, yeah, Scorch's overheat is excellent, just not versatile enough for me. And at number 1, and I'm sure a lot of you, if you've seen my other videos, are going to know exactly what this is. It is Saint's Revive Drone. And look, I can hear the outcry, I can hear the anger already going through people saying, well, this character's better, this character's better, you can't put Saint as number 1. Look, this game has an issue where people just seem to not like reviving, even when they're directly stood on top of you. Saint is like the perfect counter to that. Don't get me wrong, there are times where you kind of completely forget to use Saint's ability. You won't notice someone's gone down or whatnot. But there are also times where you're walking round and you see someone's downed, especially if you buy the perk, which helps it a lot. I believe it takes down from 5 seconds to 3 seconds to revive. If you're not using that, you're not using Saint right. But you pop this, someone goes down, you just tap 2 buttons and boom, I would say 6-7 times out of 10 you're getting a revive, unless the enemy's really thirsting. It's excellent. It's absolutely excellent. And I've been able to get quite literally 15-16 revives in a game. You understand what that means? That means that's 15 people that have been able to get back up into a fight, possibly even got a kill each. Then that's essentially 15-16 assists I've got. It is such a strong ability, more so than any other. And there's even times where you can pop this ability, even if you're stood next to the downed person. You can pop this ability because then you're able to kind of protect them and make sure they don't get thirsted while it's happening. And yes, there are a couple of downsides. It is loud and it is obvious. But overall, it is so top tier and it is so essential. If you aren't using a Saint in your match, you are so much more likely to lose. It is so simple. If you haven't got a Saint on your team, you need to be the Saint. I always wait to see who my teammates pick. If it isn't someone picking Saint, I just auto-lock him in. He's so good, even though he's not the most fun to use, having that revive ability is OP as hell. And it has clutched the game for me and the team many a time. And that is my list, guys. Look, I would love to hear in the comments who you think has the best ability in game. Who do you disagree with on this list as well? You know, it is a community here. We like to have opinions, so let me know what you think. Stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you next time.